So, welcome, friends, to our meditation time. I invite you just to get into that spot that you've chosen and really ground through your seat or stretch out long if you're laying down. And just give yourself these first few breaths of just arriving, settling, and being. There's nothing really that you need to change about your body, whatever version you have chosen for this time. Just let it be the right version for you. Sitting, lying down, breathing at whatever pace feels good. Really making this your practice. And as you do that, just feel this sense of arrival, of all the busyness that you've been engaged in, all the things you've been doing across the last few hours. They are done, and here you are. And so just really allow yourself to be. And as you're doing that, I would also just encourage us each to kind of listen. Listen in the room where you are, where you've chosen to be, and notice what you hear. Maybe it's the air conditioning. Maybe it's the movement of the dog. Maybe there's someone else in the house kind of moving things around and you hear that. Just notice. Maybe it's traffic on the street outside the window. But just kind of tune in. Hear it. And then notice how your skin feels. If you're in a room where it's cool, notice that across your skin. If it's a little bit warm, notice that. If it feels just right, or if you've got a spot on your skin that feels a certain way, notice that. And then as you take your next breath in, take in the sensation of the smell of the room where you are. Maybe you can smell, like I can, the scent of the incense that was burning earlier. Maybe if you're near the kitchen, you smell whatever meal was just prepared most recently. Maybe if you're outside, you get a sense of what nature smells like right now. But just breathe in and take it in. Notice it. And so I've had us just kind of go through a few of our senses as we settle in, because today's practice is rooted in this limb of yoga called Pratyahara. It's the fifth limb. It comes after the movement, it comes after the breath, but it comes before the concentration. And it is the limb about this yoga practice that is all connected to our senses. So if I had asked you just to open your eyes and look around, you would have had the sense of sight. You would have seen all the things in the room, the textures, the colors, the spots that might be a little messy, the spots that are nice and organized. If I'd asked you to check in with how things feel in your mouth, you might be able to notice what it was that you just ate most recently, or notice if your mouth feels dry. Our senses help us to really make sense of the world. I don't think it's an accident that that's what they're called, because they really help us to process things. We hear a sound and we say, okay, my neighbor just got home, I hear their car. Or we take in a smell and we say, okay, someone's in the other part of the house preparing dinner. And our senses really do help us to understand and kind of process and make sense of this world. But what happens when we get stuck in one of those sounds, or one of those smells, or one of those things that we see? And all of a sudden, wherever our mind was in this present moment, now it's gone somewhere else. It's listening to see what other noises will come. Or it's listening and being frustrated by the disturbance of that noise. Or it's smelling the smell and the mind goes to the idea of, well, I hope whoever's making that smell in the kitchen is going to clean up when they're finished. And so it goes. So these lovely things, these senses that help us to process the world, can also lead us away from the present moment. That is why when Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutras, he told us that there's a limb that we must pay attention to called Pratyahara. We are designed to smell and to feel and to see and to hear and to taste, but not at the detriment of this present moment awareness. And so as you just pause here, tune into that sense of hearing again. With your eyes closed, maybe you can hear a little more sharply. And see if whatever sounds you pick up on, you can truly just notice them and come right back here to this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. And it's so perfect, almost on cue, like he knew. I can hear one of the dogs and his toenails clicking down the hall as he walks to look out, I'm sure, the front window, wondering how long I'm going to be in the meditation room. And so there are times in our life when we hear things like what I just heard, that all we can think about is that. But what if we could go through our day feeling, experiencing these senses, and not being attached to whatever we notice? What if we could just notice? So Patanjali wasn't asking us to not have this sensory experience of the world. What he's asking us to do is don't sacrifice the present moment because of it. And so in this Yoga Sutra, he says, when the senses withdraw themselves, this is Pratyahara. And so maybe what we have to do in the beginning stages of our practice is we have to actually withdraw from this sensory stimuli. But then over time, the more that we practice, what we actually start to notice is our senses will begin to withdraw themselves. Because you've conditioned yourself to truly be in the present moment. This is where you live. This is where you breathe. This is how you go through your day, each moment at a time. And then eventually, as you practice this often enough, you hear that sound and you come right back to the breath. Or you feel that sensation in your physical body, you adjust, and then you come right back to the breath. Because we know that the breath is this bridge right back to the present moment. What causes us trouble is when we get stuck in that sensory stimulus. We notice it, and we continue to notice it. It takes us somewhere even beyond that sound, even beyond that smell. And we've created this whole narrative around that thing that we noticed, and the present moment has passed. Chances are many present moments have passed. And so that is why this act of meditation really is about cultivating a practice of the present moment awareness. But it's not designed to just be something you do on your cushion or at a certain time on a certain day. It is designed to teach you how to live. Each present moment is filled with something new. And if we've let a sound or a sensation draw us away down this rabbit hole of all these things, we've missed something. And so I'd like us just to practice that today. We're going to sit with Pratyahara today as well as our next time together and just really notice what we notice. And so we'll practice just kind of going through all 5 senses and see if with each thing that we notice, we can come right back and breathe in and breathe out and realize that we anchored ourselves in this present moment. It's this beautiful tether that just keeps bringing us back. So let's start with that sense of hearing again. As you're pausing where you are, notice what you hear. And then notice the breath in and notice the breath out. And then get that sensation in your mouth. Maybe you kind of move your tongue around, you kind of move your lips, and just notice, what do you sense across your lips, across your tongue, in your mouth? What's the last thing that you ate? Can you tell? Can you feel it? Can you sense it? And now watch the breath come in and watch the breath go out. And then start to just kind of sniff and smell the air, smell the room, smell the house where you are. Notice the smells. And then notice this breath coming in, and notice this breath going out. And then pay attention to this spot that you're seated on or lying on. How does it feel? Maybe take your hands and just kind of touch it. Feel the textures of the chair, of the bed, of the cushion. And as you feel it, notice it. And then watch this next breath coming in and this next breath going out. And then slowly and gently, because they've been closed for a bit, just open up your eyes and take in the room. Just kind of scan and survey and see all the things. And then close your eyes again. Watch the breath come in. Watch the breath go out. That is Pratyahara. We still heard and smelled and tasted and felt and saw, but we never sacrificed the present moment. And so what I'd like us to do is just sit here in this moment, this beautiful present moment awareness. If you feel something pulling you away, just make a note. What sense is that? And then come right back here. Let the breath be the bridge that brings you back as we pause together. And in the noticing, feel the present moment. Feel how comforting it is, how stable it feels. It's got this beautiful pattern. It comes as you breathe in, and it passes as you breathe out, and then it does it again. And so I encourage us to practice this limb of Pratyahara, this sensory restraint, or this withdrawal of the senses. So tomorrow, as you go through your day, see the things around you, smell them, feel them, taste them, hear them, and then see if each time you feel a sensory pull, whatever it is, practice coming right back and almost audibly saying to yourself, I see the breath coming in, I see the breath going out. And just begin to practice this idea of tethering yourself to this present moment. Feel, and then come right back here. Hear, and then come right back here. And so it will go. Our meditation practice is meant to inform all the other parts of our life. It's meant to be a practice that we can take off this cushion, metaphorical or real, and go live it. So yet, let the breath be this tether to the present moment. As you take all 5 senses into your day tomorrow, notice the ones that really draw you away. And then you look up and it's many minutes later and you realize, I did it again. And so then you reset and you start fresh from there. Make tomorrow just a day of noticing this gentle, compassionate awareness of all the senses, where they pull you, and how you bring yourself back. So let's come back to this breath one more time together, this beautiful bridge to the present moment. So breathing in. The present moment is here. Breathing out. It's complete. Namaste.